What's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on, everybody? This is your man, Dre Mack, with another episode of the Dre Mack Podcast Show.
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on, everybody? This is your man Dre Mack with another episode of the Dre Mack Podcast Show, coming to you live on a Monday. You know what we do. We're trying to get it in. I had a particular podcast that I wanted to do that got canceled, so I wanted to make sure that I actually did, because I was going to do it anyway, my actual review on the Truth Apparel Mini-Series. If you don't know what that Truth Apparel Mini-Series is, you need to go to www.truththereason.com. Just check out the mini-series, man. It's a 4-hour mini-series, but you can break it down into intervals and stuff like that, so you can be able to watch a lot of history that's coming out of Wyandotte County. And shout out to Roger Suggs for the mini-series, for being the director of this mini-series, the creator of this. It is to make sure that they get this Operation Safe House going on. So let me just tell you a little bit about Operation Safe House, why it's so important that people tune in and watch this miniseries. So in the truthreasons.com website, it says several students have come to us, usually with abusive backgrounds, nowhere to go, dorms closing, and they had all one common factor: nowhere to go, no one to help, no financial solution. Hearing that, we added a component to the Truth Apparel, which was to use funds to buy extended stay hotels in a room where people willing to volunteer space to their homes. This was only a temporary fix to a larger issue. Due to the limited funds, we operated Operation Safe House. Our goal with the Operation Safe House is to secure a building safe within the route system of the Kansas City Metro bus system, to house students in compromising housing situations, mentor them on how to acquire and retain employment, and become mentors out of the mentees. To accomplish this, we're raising $15,000 to buy a building instead of renting it. We appreciate anyone that believes in the vision we have to help our youth out by giving them hope in a different society. This is from the Truth Reasons website. So it's really very important that we take a look at the situation, because we're always talking about, man, I wish I had a little bit of help. I wish. This is your opportunity right now to help. And by purchasing the miniseries or renting the miniseries out for 72 hours, those funds is going to Operation Safe House. Now, I've also donated through the GoFundMe account, which is Destined for Greatness. So if you go to www.gofundme.com/Destin, DESTINE, the number 4 in greatness, GREATNESS, you will be able to donate to this particular fund, help someone. This is actually helping a lot of the students who might not get the help that they need. This is an opportunity for you to help these students out. So I believe it's very important to go ahead and if you don't want to buy the video or watch the documentary, that's fine. At least try to donate something. We want to make sure that these students have an opportunity to be able to have a place to go, to be able to at the time need a mentor, and to be able to get out that situation to be able to mentor other students. So I think that is very important. So let me kind of break down some of the videos that's in the truthreasons.com. So the first episode of the documentary is Surviving Quindaro. That's the Gary Wilson story. And the Gary Wilson story is very, very important, especially if you grew up in Wyandotte County. Wilson's Pizza has been around in Wyandotte County on Quindaro forever, since I was a little kid. So it's an interesting story talking about Gary Wilson, the things that he had to go through at a time where Pizza Hut and Domino's did not deliver on Quindaro or that area. And I grew up, a portion of my time, I grew up in Parkwood off of Quindaro. So we couldn't get Pizza Hut. We couldn't get Domino's, you know what I'm saying, to go down there. Little Caesars or something like that wouldn't go down to that neighborhood. It wouldn't deliver. So Gary Wilson, created the tagline, "If they want, Wilson's will." So it is very interesting to hear that story, hear how Quindaro used to be back in the day when it was a thriving community, and a little bit of how integration kind of destroyed Quindaro. It's funny because people that grew up in the 80s, like I did, grew up in the 80s and, was a teen in the 90s. We look at Quindaro totally different than, people who grew up in the 70s and 60s, because they remember when Quindaro, was a thriving community, a Black thriving community. So it's very key to learn a lot of Black history from Quindaro. We're still in the midst of Black history. We're towards the end, with this being the 22nd, we still got 6 more days left, but we always want to talk about Black history, where this is Black history. You're purchasing the video to learn more about Black history, especially if you grew up in Wyandotte County. So it's really very, very, very important to understand the vitalness of Black history within your own community. So, like I said, I absolutely enjoyed it. I've breaking bread plenty of times with Gary Wilson. Gary Wilson is a really good guy, really good man. I would most definitely, if you're down on Quindaro, you're down over there by 18th Street. You know what I mean? Go check out Wilson's Pizza, man. Go buy some pizza. You know what I'm saying? Go buy some chicken strips. Go buy a burger. Support that man, because that man has been in that area through the roughest of times, you know what I'm saying, and through the thriving times. So make sure you go out and check out Wilson's Pizza. The second one was the Craig Ledesy story, which Craig Ledesy was a musician, a platinum award winning producer who helped produce the "I Got Five on It" beat. And if you watch it, if you listen to the story, this man has mentored was going and did his thing in LA. He also mentored Joseph Macklin, also known as Joe Black, who is a platinum producer in his own right out of KCK, someone I went to school with. We went to Washington High School together, someone that I have great respect for as a musician, as a father, as a husband, you know what I'm saying? And this man has architected, his success and helped his success by mentoring, and not only mentoring him, but mentoring other people. So I got the opportunity to do a Zoom call with Mr. Ledesy, or some people call him Mr. Lindsay. Very, very good, humble man. And it's great to hear a musician story and to tell the stories of how clubs and stuff like that used to jump right on Quindaro. And so you're seeing there's a theme right there, with understanding Quindaro and the historical facts of Quindaro Boulevard. We, like I said, people that grew up on Quindaro had no clue, from my generation, no clue how thriving and how beautiful Quindaro used to be, before the businesses and stuff like that started going away, man. So again, this is another reason why I said you got to be able to support, because you never know what stories you're getting ready to hear or what people you're getting ready to find out about. In this particular documentary, man, you're finding out a lot of a lot of information from these particular people. The blueprint, the James Holt story. A lot of people don't. A lot of people know about Holt's Barbershop. and the thriving success that Holt has been having in Wyandotte County for years, especially on Minnesota, is very interesting because I'm not going to lie. Out of all the documentaries, this is one of the ones that pulled my heartstrings because I remember my cousin Wes being killed over off of Minnesota. You know what I'm saying? Off of 16th of Minnesota. So, hearing that story and then hearing how, you're trying to have a thriving business, you're trying to, grow young men to be business owners. You know what I'm saying? So in this particular documentary, he gets to go into detail how he created a platform for young men and women to be able to take their talents and to be able to get their own business, and to talk about the story of an entrepreneur and a person who had to survive Quindaro and survive in Wyandotte County and survive in, having just a dream, to start off as just a dream and to be able to go where he's at right now. And shout out to my man Steven, you know what I'm saying? With with the underground thing he got going on. Salute to you, my man. And he already knows he supports Roger Suggs in the truthfreezers.com. So, salute to you, King. Let's go to the next story. After that, it's the urban American outdoor story, the Wayne Herbert story. And again, these are stories that I've never heard of. I didn't even know that there was an urban American outdoor show back in the day showing an African American man going out hunting and fishing. The things that you see right now from a lot of our counterparts, that's showing them out there hunting and fishing. This is a black man from Wyandotte County that was actually doing that. So his story is very interesting. His story is, talks about a lot of things that he had to endure being a black man and being an outdoorsman, educating more people on conservation and wildlife, that looks like me. You know what I'm saying? And not only just looks like me, that's Hispanic, that's Asian and stuff like that. And how there's a thriving market in conservation for, people, of color. So it was very interesting to hear that story. The next story after that was the Heart to Heart story, the Christopher Williams story. And I keep forgetting that me and Chris actually went to Wyandotte together, briefly, even though I didn't know him like that. I know he's a really good Facebook friend of mine. But to hear his story, oh my God, you're talking about heartstrings being tugged, man. His story is so incredible about, first of all, as a man, when you are sick, go get checked out. Because this man said that he was sick for months because he just thought he had a common cold. But me, us as men, we get sick and we all, we could roll through it. And maybe I take a little medicine here, but I'm not going to a doctor. It was so important to find for us to go to a doctor, because once he went to that doctor and found out that he had the heart disease that he had and all of that stuff, man, and to see him overcome that, man, it's such a beautiful story, man. And to know that he had a wife sitting right there that was by his side throughout the whole entire thing. You know what I'm saying? Her being a nurse, man. I want you to hear it for yourself, man. $9.99, y'all. $9.99, 72 hours. Listen to the whole entire story, man. Or you could buy the series, individually. But I was sitting around at work just listening to these stories, man. And in this particular story, man, because we're roughly around the same age, you couldn't help but to get a little choked up when you hear a black man who's out here working out. Shout out to my man LeRae Easterwood, who works out in the same gym as him, because he's featured in the actual documentary, working out in the background. And I'm gonna get him on the podcast too, so we could be able to talk about home ownership. So you're coming, LeRae, but to actually hear someone overcome so much by having these transfusions and stuff like that, and being down and working your way up, and then his love of God and how he overcame that with the strength of his faith, the strength of his family, man. It's just beautiful, dude. Y'all missing out. $9.99 to be able to watch this documentary, support a important operation, the Operation Safe House. And man, to be able to listen to these stories, man, to listen to these stories is, man, you never know what someone's going through, man, until you hear a story. And we all see Chris all, I remember Chris used to be, a little guy like me, you know what I'm saying? And, he cocked diesel, you know what I mean? And all of that. And to know that what he went through and still be able to get up, despite it all, to go work out, to make his, you know what I'm saying, to get his body right, to make it, to feel good, just to feel good in the morning. Man, it's a blessing, y'all. It's a complete blessing. The next story was the survivor of the fatherless, is the Levance Meek story. And for me, the story is very important. My dad did 20 years in the penitentiary, so I didn't get to grow up with my father. I was part of state custody when I was growing up. I bounced around from home to home, and to hear him and his story, for him to be able to take his story and to write a book about it, and to be able to not let that deter him from what he has to do in his life. Very beautiful story, man. And again, $9.99. I spent $10 on some. Well, actually, let me take that back. I spent more than $10 on wings. I spent $20 on some delicious, very delicious lemon pepper wings. And they were good too. So $20 that I spent to feed my face. $9.99. You can be able to watch the documentary, and it goes to a really good cause. That's why I said support is needed. Support is needed on here. Not only do you hear these amazing stories from these amazing people, you're also donating to a worthy cause. And this is a challenge to Wyandotte County, y'all. We need to step up. Wyandotte County needs to step up, because these are your stories from your people in your neighborhood. So I know Roger talked about this on the podcast when he was on the podcast. And it was very important for him to let me know how much support he didn't get from the people in Wyandotte County. So I'm employing you. Go and take the time out. www.truththereason.com. It goes to a worthy cause. The Truth Apparel goes to a worthy cause. They're trying to raise $15,000 for people in need. Let's think about that. For people in need. And if you got a college student, if you ever been a college student, you know how it feels to be broke. And I remember being a freshman, being broke. This is one of the reasons why I dropped out of college, because I was just broke. Living with my grandmother, going to school every day. Some days I had to foot it to school. I didn't take a bus. No, I didn't take the city bus, man. Some days I had to walk from 5th Street, you know what I'm saying, down in Gateway all the way to 18th Street, you know what I'm saying, just to go to school. You know what I'm saying, to try to get an education, working three jobs and had a full working schedule, So I worked at Walmart. I worked at during college. I worked at Walmart. I worked at the YWCA, and I worked at my school in the library. And I had 16 credit hours that I had to do in school also. You know what I'm saying? So I could be able to not rely on my grandmother who's living off assistance. You know what I mean? So when I tell you this is real, that kids are out there, sometimes in worse situations than that. We're nowhere to go, in abusive relationships and abusive situations. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about at home with parents, or with, or with guardians and stuff like that, or whatever their situation is. This is the time to spend $9.99. Or if you don't want to spend $9.99, go and donate to the GoFundMe account. It is so important that we look at the future of these kids, because you never know, the rose that grew from the concrete will be the one that comes out of Wyandotte County and end up being, the next president, or the next, attorney general, to help our cause, to be able to do something special, in Wyandotte County, to be the next Earl Watson, whoever that you look up to, the next Janelle Monáe. I'm telling you, $9.99 helps another kid out. And some of us now have kids that's in college now. There's people my age have kids in college. Let's be able to be the support system. All I'm saying is $9.99 to be able to get you a lot of these stories that you're listening to, a lot of the documentary, man, is going to be well worth it. So the speaking of the rose that grew out the concrete, this is the Talina Akon story. I believe I'm saying her last name right. Her story was very, very well done. Shout out to Roger Suggs, man, and shout out to the whole Truth team, man, that filmed these episodes. And I would give a shout out to Toyota also for being a driving force to help these stories get out, because this is sponsored by Toyota. So even though I'm a Ford guy, UAW 249, man, shout out to Toyota for taking the time out to help tell these stories also. And we cannot, and this is the thing why $9.99, I'm gonna say it again, $9.99. Matter of fact, if you're watching this right now, type it in the comment section, $9.99. $9.99 can help a student. Again, this is not we don't need to rely on sponsorships from Toyota. And a community is supposed to thrive. Listen to what I'm saying. A community is supposed to thrive. And the only way that this community thrives is by us helping each other. When I did the interview with Nick King, the founder of the Proud Puff cereal, one thing that he said that is standing out is he said he had his community's help. It wasn't corporate sponsorships or someone else. It was the community in Connecticut that got together and said, we could be able to see your vision and help you out, to feed a child a really great balanced breakfast. So why not be able to take the opportunity? Because don't tell me you broke. Don't tell me that. We buy lashes. We buy all this other crap. You know what I'm saying? That we really don't need at the time. Well, we could be able to help someone else in their time of need. Hell, we'll give, money to the church too. Why not give money to another cause? If you think that that's a blessing, just think of what you're doing when you're helping a child out, get out of a rough situation, and be able to see that the community is supporting them, that they live in. Come on now. And this is why I like Talina's story, because in this story, she's talking about all the hardships and the struggles that she had to do being a female artist out in Kansas City, even though she's originally from St. Louis, moving to Wyandotte County and taking the ball and running with it, getting in front of these particular people to listen to her music and following her dreams, whether her dreams led her to sleeping in her car at night, you know what I'm saying? Because her dream, she looked at her dream as important. Think about what I'm saying, y'all. Her dream was so important that she had to go for it. No matter if people be like, well, you could have just got a job and just settled. No, she followed her dream. And shout out to Tisha Marie for advising me to read a particular book called The Alchemist. You know what I mean? About following your dreams. And that story is exactly the definition of following your dreams. So the next story that was on here is the American Patton story. The man, the mentor, the musician. I actually went to school with American too at Harmon, and his story, him being a jazz musician, telling the story about his father being a jazz musician, playing the bagpipes, which is did not know that. American also, playing a trumpet and being a talented musician in his own right. But the biggest thing is, that I noticed about this story was the story of Quindaro Boulevard and how the Underground Railroad, when I tell you this is Black history, y'all, this is Black history. Do you know Quindaro Boulevard and the Quindaro ruins was a place that the Underground Railroad went through? Like literally, it's a hub for the Underground Railroad, y'all. That's Black history. The place that I grew up on, you know what I'm saying? The areas that I grew up on, for whether it's off of 13th Street or we talk about for 27th Street, we're talking about for 31st. Quindaro Boulevard has a completely historic context to it. And this particular story talks about the historical documentation of Quindaro in Wyandotte County, y'all. We're talking about slaves used to go through Kansas City, Kansas to be free. And a lot of the historical places in Wyandotte County, that some of them are parking lots now, were created by runaway slaves who just wanted to be free, because Kansas was a free state and Missouri was a slave state. Y'all, I'm telling you, our ancestors was in Wyandotte County building it from the ground up. And we look at it as we look at it now as, oh, that's Quindaro, that's the hood, that's the, it's this, that, and the other. Look at the way it looks. That's because someone did not want the history to survive, so they destroyed it. And they would not rebuild it. So it takes us to rebuild it. This is why, I thank Roger Suggs and Big Mama Towers for doing the things that they do on Quindaro, man, with Gary Wilson and all these other people. I remember growing up getting my hair cut at Pete's. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day. I've grew up and been all up and down Quindaro. But to know from these stories that that's a historical place, dude, come on, man. We need to build our community back up, y'all. And the last story is the FBOE story, and this is a story of the Feds benefits story on how they became about, how Roger, wanted to go in the college, and with the help of the administrators and the dean of Kansas City, Kansas Community College, how they transform young people's lives from 2007 to now. 14 years later, they're still transferring children, they not children, but young people's lives, man. This is why $9.99 to buy the documentary, or to be able to just support it. You don't want to buy the documentary, that's fine. Donate to the GoFundMe account. These are the stories that change lives, y'all. And when I really literally say change lives, this is changing people's lives, y'all. This is why this is so important. I'm not saying this just to be because, I got a little portion in the documentary, but that when I found out about fringe benefits and found out what Roger Suggs was doing, I always told him, if I have the time, I'm coming out to speak to those kids, because I know how it feels to be a kid struggling and all of that while you're just trying to make something of yourself. I know how that feels. So, and I had an opportunity. He didn't pay me any money or anything. I got an opportunity to speak with the kids on the night, and I worked overnights, on Thursdays, and on this particular Thursday, I had the time off. I said, I'm talking about driving 40 minutes to come holler at kids and let them know how proud I am for them to even be in that program and how it feels because I was that kid in that same seat, listening to someone older tell me that you're on the right path. Do not give up. Do not stop striving. Do not stop giving up on your dreams, and go ahead and just bust through. But letting you know the community is right there behind you. The people who came before you is right there to give you your props. And that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Making sure that we invest in these kids' lives and making sure that they know they got somebody there for them. So again, to wrap this up, it's a 9-part series. $9.99, y'all. If y'all still watching in the chat, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Steven for the $9.99. Put $9.99. That's all it costs. All it costs to be able to help someone else and to be able to invest in a young person's life. And that's the thing. We gave, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna be real, and I'm about to wrap this up, because we gave Nipsey Hussle so much credit for what he did in South Central, in his hometown, South Central LA, over in Watts and Crenshaw and all of that. We gave him the utmost props because he was a talented artist and he gave back to his community. We got people that's doing the same thing as Nipsey right now. Support. www.truththereason.com. Check them out. Holler at Roger Suggs. You know what I'm saying? AKA Vigilante. Let them know we're here for the community, especially, like I said, the ones who grew up in Wyandotte County. Let them know we're here for them. And we're going to make sure that their stories get told. So, again, I'm just wrapping it up. This is my review. It's an excellent documentary. I watched it from start to finish. I had to watch it in 2-hour intervals. It's overall, it's a little over 4.5 hours. But again, once you get caught up in the stories, you're not even paying attention, because the stories are so important. So make sure you guys are checking out the Dre Mac Podcast Show. This is airing live on YouTube. This is airing live on my Facebook page, the Dre Mac Show Facebook page. I love y'all. Peace, shalom to everyone. I am out.
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on, everybody? This is your man Dre Mac with another episode of the Dre Mac Podcast Show.